evening. Welcome to the March 12th Valley View School Board meeting. I would ask everyone to rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Baduris, if you would please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Anybody have the board affirmation statement up? Ms. Perro, if you would please.
Our mission is to empower all learners to be college and career ready and to develop, grow, and achieve as productive citizens.
Thank you. Dr. Mitchum, the agenda, if you would.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to ask that the board approve the agenda as presented.
Motion?
Second.
Motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Treasurer's report, Mr. Gazafi.
Treasurer's Action Report 5.1 is for the month of February 2018, includes the usual monthly reports along with the consideration for action of the interim obligation payments totaling $3,777,289.45.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report.
So moved. Second.
Motion and seconded. Spending money. Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Hey, can you turn your fan just a little bit the other way? Thank you. Getting low in rumble here. Gary, if you would.
Treasurer's Action Report 5.2 is a schedule of bills for the month of March. We've got 5 funds representing a total expenditure of $1,847,012.03 for your consideration.
Motion to accept?
So moved.
Motion seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. The other information reports are for information only. Summary of investments for February, state funding update for February, as well as the school trust account activity. Any questions on any of that?
I noticed, Gary, that we are only less than 90 days out and 2.7 million?
Correct.
From the state. That's pretty good compared to what we've had the last several years, correct?
Absolutely. Those payments were due in December, so we find ourselves 63 days behind, if you will, to the tune of 2.7, correct.
Compared to 14 million at the end of last year?
They've made some nice strides in catching up. We're hoping that's a trend that we will continue to see into the future.
Anybody have any questions of Gary and the other 3 reports? Moving down the agenda, if we would. Consent agenda items. Dr. Mitchum?
Yes, Mr. Quigley, I'd like to ask the board to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.4. 6.1 through 6.5, excuse me. 6.1 board meeting minutes, 2/26/18. 6.2 executive session meeting minutes, 2/26/18. 6.3 Illinois High School Association membership renewal. 6.4 gifts for B.J. Ward Elementary, Independence Elementary, Bolingbrook High School, and Romeoville High School, and 6.5 trips for Bolingbrook High School and Romeoville High School.
Motion to approve would be in order.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Baduris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Abstain.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Next on the agenda is student and staff recognition, the IESA Class 8 4A's boys basketball program. State qualifiers. Jane Adams, I believe. Come on down. Why are you guys all standing back there? How are you going to get on TV if you're in the corner? There you go.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, members of senior leadership, Dr. Mitchum, members of the community. I'm Pauline Zadanek. I'm the assistant principal at Jane Addams Middle School. It is with honor that I, along with Ms. Polson and our Jane Addams staff, are here to honor an elite group of student athletes. At Jane Addams, we pride ourselves on our outstanding reputation, and these gentlemen represent it on every level. In the classroom, in the community, and on the court, they truly are leaders. This group had an outstanding season. They finished the season 21-7 and were 4th in the state. We are proud. We are proud at Jane Addams to be represented by these young men. Here to speak about the team and introduce the players is our coach, Jordan Gage.
Thank you. I first want to say thank you to the board and to Superintendent Dr. Mitchum for inviting us today and recognizing us. It's a pretty big deal. And with regards to this team, me and Coach Ploger have had the opportunity and the privilege to coach an incredible group of young men, a very talented group. As mentioned, they won 21 games this season and finished as one of the top 4 teams in the entire state of Illinois. And when I think back to during the season, there was a critical moment where we had really good games, and we had some games where there was just something missing. And we played the final game of the regular season. We played a team that also won 20 games, and we were down by 13 points at halftime. And they pretty much could have folded it in. They pretty much could have quit and said, "Hey, we'll try again in regionals." And this team didn't do that at all. They battled back, and they tied the game and ended up winning it in overtime. And it's probably it was the hardest game I've ever seen them play. And from that point on, they went on and won 5 straight games by an average of 20 points before losing to the state champions by 7 points. So it was an incredible run. When I think back to how much they've grown from last year to this year, they lost their first game of regionals last year. And to go from that to many of these players this year getting all the way to the state tournament and finishing on the last day that IHSA 4A plays basketball is incredible. So for that, I am truly appreciative of all their hard work, the hours of practices, the amount of support the parents and fans have given us. It was just an incredible year. So when I mention you guys' name, please come up and shake our hands, and then we'll hand you your award. Donovan Adams. Now you're gonna shake their hands. Tyler Burrows. Makai Cooper. Julian Flores. Wes Hamilton. Tyler Herring. Tayshawn Howard. Rodney Jackson. Jaden Matlock. Hunter Rasick. Dravion Turner. Jack Vidvarka. And Marcus Williams.
So there's 10 eighth graders in this crew. I'm guessing that Coach Brost is eyeing up a few of those young men right now. And a couple of those guys are what, 8th grade, and they're 6'4", 6'3"? I'm getting shorter every year. So are you guys done taking a picture over there? Moms, dads, you want to take a photo? Jump in. It's probably the last time they'll all be together. Well, they may be together, but this way they'll at least be organized. While they're doing that, the ISHA state speech qualifiers, come on down.
Hello, I'm Jackie Lewis, and I'm an assistant principal at Bolingbrook High School. I would like to thank the board, the community, and senior leadership for this opportunity. I am honored to present some of our finest coaches and sponsors and students that are here tonight from Bolingbrook High School. To start, I would like to recognize our speech team, the qualifiers from state, and their coach, Ms. Donna Tapley, or Franks Tapley.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you guys for having us here. I am so honored to be here to recognize some students. I'm also sad because this is the last opportunity. Hopefully not, though. We're doing contest play and group interp right now, so maybe we'll be back. They just left practice, and at the high school for contest play, they're in a group interp. They're in a Secret Life of Bees. And so hopefully, like I said, this weekend is sectionals at Richards High School, and so hopefully we'll be back with some great news about them qualifying for state. We'll see what happens. But I'm here to recognize their achievements. They both, Tony and Nicole, both came to me as freshmen on our speech team and has grown tremendously throughout the years. I have a few stats. I'm not going to be able to say it much without getting all emotional, but I wrote down some stats about how their seasons went. On any given season, we compete in 14 to 16 different tournaments. That includes regionals, sectionals, and state finals. So in 4 years, they've competed in over 60 tournaments, which is a lot of tournaments. Up early on a Saturday morning at 6 o'clock with a suit on, ready to go, and competing all day. So first I'm going to talk a little bit about Nicole, who was a dramatic interpretation and dramatic duet actress, queen. We can't wait to see what great and wonderful things she does. And her freshman year, Nicole received 5 medals, which is pretty good as a freshman starting out. By her sophomore year, by the end of that season, she had received 10 medals that season. And remember, we're 14 tournaments a season, so that's almost every Saturday on stage winning a medal. Her junior year, 10 medals. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the wrong student. So 4 medals freshman year for Nicole, 7 her sophomore year. Her junior year, 11 medals. And then her senior year, just about every Saturday, she finished with 16 medals, which is like a tournament every weekend or 2. It's a big accomplishment. Both Tony and Nicole entered a regional competition at Downers Grove North High School, which is a really tough regional to come out of. And she finished as tournament champion. She was first place, so she was the regional champion. And then she went on to sectionals at Elk Grove High School and finished as the sectional champion, which qualified her to state. Nicole finished 8th place in state, and we're talking hundreds and hundreds of children entering dramatic interpretation. And so congratulations, Nicole, on your run. And I'll try to be quicker a little bit about Tony. Okay, Tony Olea, oh my goodness. He came to me as a freshman also. He started in declamation and then transitioned into this great poetry speaker. His freshman year, he started with 5 medals. His sophomore year, he had 10. His junior year, he had 16 medals. And then just about every Saturday, you came home with a medal or 2. One Saturday in particular, and I sent this email out because it was so impressive, there were 81 competitors in poetry reading. In the preliminary rounds, the students see 3 individual judges. He got straight ones from the judges. And then he went into a final round, and there's 3 judges in the final round. He went straight ones in final round. So out of 81 students, every judge that saw him that day gave him first place. So that's amazing accomplishment. And then... And just like Nicole Walker, Tony entered the regional competition. He finished as first place tournament champion. He went into the sectional competition and finished as sectional champion in first place. And so you know how proud I was, like a proud mama that Saturday. He went on to state finals, and in the final round, he finished 4th. So 4th in the state. So congratulations, Tony Olea. Thank you.
So next up, DECA state qualifiers, BHS.
Yes, DECA. I would like to honor DECA, our students that are here who are coached and sponsored by Mr. Tom Hanlon.
All right. Members of the board, President Quigley, Dr. Mitchum, members of the community, thanks for giving us this opportunity to share our accomplishments this year. A lot of people ask the question what DECA is. I could speak a lot about it. I've been doing it for 9 years. DECA is a premier business and marketing club where students have the opportunity to work on business industry scenarios with public speaking and marketing presentations. These students have been in DECA for more than 1 year, a couple of them 3 years, and a lot of great things happening this year. We have 2 national qualifiers that will be attending the conference in Atlanta, and I'll get to them, or one of them, as we go through here. So the first group that I'm going to announce competed as a team by researching business services in a healthcare industry, making improvements to an already thriving company, and they presented a 30-page research paper in doing that. Benz Hoffmeyer and Erica Neal placed top 10 at the state competition in Rosemont. Good job. All right. Our next DECA competitor is Asta Gay. She qualified not only at the state competition top 10 for her research paper that she did as an independent international business plan distributing water through Puerto Rico. Again, a 30-page research paper, but she placed 3rd in quick serve restaurant management as an individual. Did very well, very proud of her, and she will be attending the Atlanta National Conference at the end of April. So wishing her the best of luck, Asta Gay. Congratulations. We have a few that could not make it tonight. These are industrious students. A few of them are working tonight as juniors, so pretty good accomplishment there, I think. Darnisha Crockett would have rounded out Ben's and Erica's research paper team, finishing top 10. Peyton Aiken placed top 10 for quick serve restaurant management, the same event that Asta competed in. And Josh Currian placed top 10 as well in, of course I would draw a blank on it. Should have wrote it down. I'm sorry. Josh Currian did very well. He's a second-year returning student. He went to nationals last year. Just a a great individual. I wish he could be here, and I wish I didn't draw a blank right now. But thank you for allowing us this opportunity to share our accomplishments, and wishing our qualifiers the best of luck in nationals.
He's probably home inventing that little widget thing that they sell for $5. The next best widget thing.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, members of the audience, and members of the community. It gives me great privilege to introduce our Career Tech Ed Department Chair and DECA sponsor, Mr. Rick Rujewicz.
Thank you. Good evening. It's a pleasure being here. My name is Rick Rujewicz. I am the Career and Tech Ed Humanities Department Chair as well as the DECA Advisor. This is our 5th year running DECA here at Romeoville High School. During this time, DECA has provided several students the opportunity to compete in various career clusters, business, marketing, management, and hospitality. We focus on DECA on building our skills for college careers, communication, business, professional writing, teamwork, business financials, presentation skills, economics, and much more. On Saturday, we took 18 students back in February to the Illinois State Leadership Conference held in Rosemont. 10 of our 18 students received top 10 awards, 3 of which are qualified for the International State Leadership Conference held in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm very proud to be up here tonight to represent these students behind me. At this time, I'd like to recognize them and then the events that they participated in. In Business Service Operations Research, David Juneau and Ryan Syed. Hey, they give me a handshake. There you go. Thank you. Ryan also received Retail Merchandising Top 10 Performance in 2 different events. Advertising Campaign, Sydney Dreyer. In Accounting, Matt Kinder. International Business Plan, Eduardo Cortez. International Business Plan, Sori Allah. And then last, we have our business growth plan. These individuals finished top 3 in state for the business growth plan, and they are going to compete at the International Career Conference held in Atlanta. And that is Shraf Abdullah Talib, Jacob Salazar, Eric Wilhoit. Thank you.
So they all know the value of looking you in the eye and shaking your hand. Next up, Mr. Kinder, keep it rolling.
Yes, I have the privilege of also introducing one of our band directors at Romeoville High School and our director of our pep band, our all-state pep band, which is going to be performing 4 games at the IHSA State Basketball Tournament on Friday, Mr. Clark Anderson.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm here to recognize some of our top members of our All-State Pep Band. Throughout the basketball season, most of our students from our program participate in the basketball Pep Band. We're allowed to take 40 of our best players to the All-State tournament, so we will be playing this Friday. We're one of 4 All-State Pep Bands that were selected this year. We went through an audition process back in December. Approximately 65 pep bands were auditioned, and IHSA officials selected us as one of the 4 pep bands. I would also like to give a little extra recognition to one of the students. I think he's first in line here, Andrew Almacera, if he would come forward. Andrew helped me out a lot with the audio and video recording that we needed to do for the audition process and set up the YouTube link. That's an integral part of the audition process compared to what it used to be 10 years ago. So I wanted to give a little extra thanks to Andrew for doing that for us. Thank you, Andrew. So at this time, I'd like to recognize the students that we have with us tonight, and they can come forward and shake everybody's hand. Andrew Almacera. Ben Austriaco. Cale Becker. Ryan Boots. Michael Dahm. Moira Delaney. Michelle Gasick. Ryan J. Hurdle. Kayla King. Emma Kloss. Alyssa Kruger. Alexis Lee, she's not here. Logan McCormick. Michael Rodriguez. Javier Romero. Jacob Salazar. Patrick Salazar. Sean Tornilla. And Ashley Zipperich. And those are some of our members of our All-State Pep Band. Thank you.
Cheerleading championships. RHS. Come on, Kinder. Derek's going to work out. Keep walking up and down that ramp.
All right. And the third and final one of 2 of our teams, but our head cheerleading coach from Romeoville High School, Mrs. Kristen Kinder.
Good evening. I'd like to take an opportunity to thank the board, senior administration, RHS administration, and of course our parents, coaches, and the hardworking athletes. A couple of highlights from our season. This has been one of our most successful seasons since I have been coaching for 5 years. Some of the highlights with varsity, we had 2 top 3 finishes, both at Wilmington, and then of course our ICCA championship, which was 6th place. For junior varsity, we had 4 top 3 finishes, which is very exciting for our future, and a matching 6th place ICCA championship place. I would just like to really just thank these girls for all the hard work that they've put in throughout this season. Most people don't know our season goes from May to March, so we are in our 2 months off right now, and the majority of the ladies who couldn't make it tonight are actually in tumbling tonight, working and at SAT prep. So I'd like to just really thank everyone who couldn't make it, and then of course highlight the ladies who are able to make it this evening. Without further ado, Peyton Camden. Alexis Gabralsik. Ivy Jones. Our MVP, Andrea Kushkowski. And Ariana Romlau.
Alrighty. Please help me show our support to the team that supports us the most, which is our BHS cheer team, which is coached by Tammy North.
Thank you. I would like to thank Dr. Mitchum and the Valley View School Board for having us here tonight to honor us. I would also like to thank Dr. Paskavich, Mr. Rose, and Adrian Meiser, and all the administrators at BHS for allowing us to cheer at the games, special events, and be the best competition team that the judges allow us to be. Our BHS co-ed varsity team was amazing. We have awesome athletes both on the mat and in the classroom. Our highlights for the season are placing third at the Southwest Suburban Conference Cheer Championship, and then we received a fourth place, finishing at our sectional and advancing us to the IHSA State Cheerleading Championships in Bloomington. I also want to thank all of my parents for getting these athletes to practice, games, competitions, and all the special events that we perform at. You are truly the best. I would also like to recognize Tracy Felice and her JV team, which had an outstanding competition season this year. Congratulations to you. And now I would like to introduce my team. Jessica Cabral, Destiny Chandler, Dina Felice, Isaiah Gray, Emma Jones, Daisha Leakey, Christina Malacara, Makaya Manning, Anaya Marshall, Tyson Noble, Raven Robinson, Hannah Stoll, Kivet Tab, Layla Thompson, and Kira Woods. Members that were unable to attend tonight: Zaria Bell, Miles DeBose, Natalie Herr, Patrice Roberts, Maria Spencer, and Kesley Van Dam. Thank you.
Unfortunately, our BHS competitive dance team is not here tonight, but they did go to the IDTA state finals this year. Our JV team took first place, and our varsity team took third place. And that's it. Thank you so much.
I probably should have said this before the room cleared out, but I have the ability, because of my day gig, to travel around the state quite a bit. And I know that our student athletes and our cheers and our speech contestants, chess clubs, all over this, whatever it is, science, business clubs, I have people tell me that kids from Valley View School District or Romeoville High School or Bolingbrook High School, pick a school, always are respectful, they do a great job, they stay in hotels, they don't cause any problems, so on and so on and so forth. That's testament to the parents, it's testament to the expectations of the school building, and it's a credit to our school district. And I just want to tell anybody who's watching and the students, thank you for doing that. It makes me very proud to be the president of this board when I hear that from people who don't have a horse in the game, as they say. So, thank you. Where are we at? 7-9? Oh. Pillars.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership, and members of our Valley View community. It is an honor to stand before you this evening to recognize our world-class Lukanzik and Scoff maintenance staff. Our JJL BSC team consists of Jim Burns, Don Worster, Matt Brown, and Paul Erba. Our building engineer, Jim Burns, does a phenomenal job leading our team. These four men are always eager to assist in any way, whether it is repairing something in the building, assisting with the many, many, many events that are hosted at JJL, carrying in and out items for various staff, assisting in emergency situations with dead batteries, flat tires, having our sidewalks in tip-top condition, you name it, and these gentlemen are there with a helping hand. You can always count on Jim, Don, and Matt to become really, really excited when they see me bringing in more things that they are going to have to hang on the walls at JJL. Paul is described as a ray of sunshine at Scoff. Each of them has a great sense of humor and are truly a joy to work with each and every day. This is the 12th year that Lukanzik has been open, and we still get compliments to this day stating that the building looks like it's brand new. If it were not for the hard work and dedication of these four gentlemen, our building would not be in the tip-top condition that it is each and every day when our students arrive to learn to their fullest potential. Thank you, gentlemen, for the outstanding job you do each and every day. Your dedication to our students and staff does not go unnoticed. You four gentlemen are without a doubt a pillar in Valley View School District.
Last but certainly not least, our National Board Certified Teachers.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior leadership in the Valley View School Committee. Ron Thorpe stated, "There is consensus that teacher quality is the most important school-based variable determining how well a child learns. It explains why all Americans should care about what it will take to create and sustain a teaching workforce defined by accomplished practice. The National Board Teacher Certification is the most respected educator certification in education and one of the most difficult to obtain. The certification process requires that educators demonstrate standards-based evidence of the positive effect they have on student learning in alignment with the 5 core propositions: commitment to students and their learning, knowledge of the subjects one teaches and how to teach those subjects to students, responsibility for managing and monitoring student learning, thinking systematically about one's practice and learning from experience, and being a member of a learning community. The certification process can take well over a year after many electronic portfolios, video submissions, and a 3-hour assessment. all of which are designed to promote continuous self-reflection and professional growth. It is my honor tonight to recognize not one, but 3 educators who have earned the National Board certification. Anita Hilton, school counselor at A. Vito Martinez. Ms. Hilton's administration indicated that she is a dedicated, reliable, and conscientious professional who works tirelessly to ensure that her students' academic and social-emotional needs are met. Our students, families, and staff rely on her extensive expertise and meticulous follow-through to both problem-solve and action plan for success in and out of the classroom. Her support of students, families, and staff is to the highest degree, and she is a valuable asset to both A. Vito Martinez and the Valley View School District as a whole. Timothy Hilton, school counselor at Bolingbrook High School. Mr. Hilton's administration indicated he is one of the most dedicated and hardworking school counselors at Bolingbrook High School. He holds himself to the highest standard of confidentiality and is seen as a true leader and mentor for all. He is a member of the College and Career Readiness Steering Committee for the district and is a building liaison for Wilco. Bolingbrook High School student, staff, and community are fortunate to have him on our school team. And finally, Asia Umer, special education teacher at Bolingbrook High School. Ms. Umer's administration indicated that she is an amazing, creative, and talented educator. She is a tireless worker that always places the students' needs before her own. She's a leader and an amazing listener, and she is respected by all educators at Bolingbrook High School.
Board liaison reports as we move down the agenda. Thank you all for what you do. From my right, any and all. From my left, any and all. I have nothing, so we'll move down the agenda. Audience participation. Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to address the board this evening? Going once, going twice, gone. Next, student due process cases. Push the button.
Yes.
Keep the button pushed.
Hello. Please approve student due process cases A through F as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Ms. Kinder, action report 11.
Yes, sir. Action report 11.1. We are seeking approval for an addendum to the previously approved board policy. It was previously approved on October 22nd, 2012, to make a technical revision to the grading scale. This makes a minor adjustment to the grading scale to adjust the quality points awarded to grades of C- and below. Those are indicated in the report as highlighted in red as presented at the last board meeting.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yep.
Okay, and action report 11.2, seeking your approval on 2 board policies that have been reviewed by legal in accordance with Illinois School Code and legal guidance. The 2 policies are 660, curriculum content, and 6150, home and hospital instruction.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Member Gilbo?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Mr. Gazafi, I can't believe that you don't have a report. Is that may be a first, and I've been doing this a long time.
It's been a few.
Moving down the agenda. Superintendent's information report. No, wait a minute. I'm sorry, Ms. Hawks.
Thank you, President Quigley.
13.1.
Action Report 13.1 is the consolidated action report for certified and classified personnel. We're seeking your approval for 22 items of certified personnel, 21 for classified personnel, and 1 for classified administrative personnel.
Motion?
So moved.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call vote, please.
Member Badouris?
Yes.
Member Perro?
Yes.
Member Gilbo?
No.
Secretary Sikora?
Yes.
Vice President Zach?
Yes.
President Quigley?
Yes. Here's your big chance, Gary. I know you're going to be in here.
Sorry to disappoint you. Just an information report. We've got a lease that will be expiring on June 15th for our production copiers located at our print shop. Our Director of Print Services, Keith Lakomiak, has done a really thorough job of researching what the best solution would be for the replacements. He is recommending we lease 5 monochrome machines and 1 color machine. We're actually going to be splitting the RFP results. Those are listed in the material there. I think the important thing to report on this is that the operation will become 15% more efficient by way of software advancements, increased speeds, lower cost of maintenance, and so forth, all while saving an estimated $268,000 over the 5-year term. So we'll be bringing that back to you at our next meeting.
Thank you. In the same vein, what else do you have?
Okay, we have strength in numbers this evening. We have the spotlight this evening. I'm pleased to introduce Mrs. Christy Vey. She's our Director of Mathematics and Science for 612, and she has a powerful force of educators behind her. And they are here this evening to share with you information about a recommendation that we are making for a middle school mathematics curriculum. So, Christy.
Good evening, President Quigley, members of the board, Dr. Mitchum, senior administration, members of the audience, and members of the community. My name is Christy Vey, and I am the Director of 6 through 12 Math and Science. I'm here this evening with middle school math general and special education teachers to present information on a new math curriculum resource for middle school. The following members listed on the next slide served on our committees throughout, beginning at the end of last school year and all through this school year. I have several members of this committee with me tonight and would like to present information to you. They will describe the process and reasons for why we are presenting a new resource. But I did want to begin by letting you know that this resource recently received perfect ratings from Ed Report's review in all areas.
Next slide.
Roll the tape.
Our middle school math committee met during the summer of 2017, and we reviewed 4 different curriculum resources: Connected Mathematics, Mid-School Math, Eureka, and Illustrative Mathematics. Our purpose for this work stemmed from data analysis in which we realized we had a lack of coherence, both between and within grade levels. As we reviewed these 4 curriculum resources, our committee used a lens wherein we tried to identify a curriculum that met the 3 shifts in Common Core, concentrating specifically on coherence. Our committee worked together through numerous lessons and interacted hands-on with each of the curriculums. Together, we decided that illustrative mathematics best met the needs of our students.
This is one of the few curriculums that we found is truly Common Core based. One of the co-writers actually was one of the writers of the Common Core state standards. So with that said, it truly is Common Core. Common Core is not just a set of standards, but it's a way of learning. And this curriculum is designed to have task-based lessons where the students are doing the learning and doing the discovery, and is providing them with their own coherence and focus throughout 6-8 math.
Okay, so as you can see from the slide, it opens up throughout the unit in terms of instructional routines, and a lot of these are highly effective instructional routines that introduce or emphasize a specific goal in that particular content area, and then it gets students to really understand and connect that to what they're learning, whether it's procedural, computational, or real-world application. In addition to that, one of the things that's really cool about this as well is it gets students to communicate and has language routines that get students to communicate with each other, to teachers, to themselves in ways that are more clear and concise and as well as thorough. So rather than just stating a mathematical answer, they're able to actually explain what it means and talk to each other and their peers. And by having this language routine that goes on throughout this curriculum, we're also able to assess as teachers and students and able to evaluate what students understand and what students don't on a real world, real life basis.
As a result, our summative assessment structure will be changing. We currently have 17 assessments at 6th grade, 11 at 7th, and 15 at 8. This will be reduced because now our summative assessment structure will be ensuring that students are getting the correct answer for the right reasons, and it allows teachers the opportunity to use diagnostic tools to actually understand where our students are not being successful. And with this time that we aren't spending testing, we can be using formative assessments to work with our students so that they will have opportunities to grow and we can support their growth.
So like was said earlier, this curriculum was really designed for the Common Core, including those 3 shifts of focus, rigor, and coherence. It's really designed to support teachers and students with that understanding. One of the cool things about it is that it allows all students to be active participants by designing lessons so that all students can have an entry point into the lesson. And we call that an invitation to the mathematics. And lessons are designed to activate prior knowledge and provide an easy entry point to new concepts. And then the third point I wanted to make was that the curriculum resource also comes with a lot of digital resources, including Desmos and GeoGebra with every lesson, so if the teacher wants to incorporate those as well. And that also has a lot of support for co-taught, for English language learners and for high achieving students. So I'm gonna let Romeo speak to those.
The support for the co-taught classes, a lot of the lessons are designed to maximize access for all students. So taking into consideration additional supports, so you can see up there, a lot of the lessons have anticipated misconceptions that students may face, especially more of our challenging students. So identifying those and then already embedding supports within the curriculum or in the resource that we can use as teachers to help those students. Along with that, a lot of the lessons suggest strategies aimed to increase the access. So a lot of our challenging students who may not be able to access the curriculum, it's putting in those supports so that they can have access to it without reducing the mathematical demands of the task.
Within the teacher lesson plans for this curriculum, there is integrated English language learner scaffolds that are available to teachers that are rich in topic and activity specific. The framework is intended to help teachers address the specialized academic language demands in math when planning and delivering lessons, including the demands of reading, writing, speaking, listening, conversing, and representing in math. Those English language supports are based on 4 principles for ELL that was researched by a group at Stanford. Principle number 1 is support sense making, which is scaffolded tasks that amplify language so students can make their own meaning. Principle 2 is optimize output. This strengthens the opportunities and supports for helping students to describe clearly their mathematical thinking to others orally, visually, and in writing. Principle 3 is cultivate conversation. This helps strengthen the opportunities and supports for constructive mathematical conversations in pairs, groups, and as a whole class. Finally, Principle 4 maximizes the meta-awareness. This strengthens the meta connections and distinctions between mathematical ideas, reasoning, and language.
And in addition to the supports for our ELL students and in our co-taught classrooms, we have support for high achievers as well. So when students are ready to move on from the main content of the lesson, there are opportunities for them to engage in tasks that ask them to make connections with that content to other areas within that grade level. Rather than trying to advance them to the next grade level, they're still working on grade level content, but going at a deeper, more in-depth sort of way. And finally, I just want to make note of those design elements in the resource that are for all students. So the lesson structure across all grade levels and across every unit in the curriculum is consistent. So again, as Lisa mentioned, we invite students to the mathematics first, and we offer them an opportunity for everyone to engage. And that's an amazing thing to say. We have tasks that allow even the lowest of the students or the shyest of the students to participate in mathematical discourse. And they do so by developing some concepts from concrete to abstract, and oftentimes the lesson plan suggests that students work as first individually, so we can ask, what do we know on our own, what can we do, and then to work with either a pair or a small group, and finally for the teacher to bring the classroom back together as a whole group to have some synthesis before they leave the room, so that a specific mathematical target or goal can be hit, and that we know that our students have reached the success criteria that were set for that lesson, which often includes applications to mathematics in real-world contexts, which some other folks have already addressed. So we have two people who have utilized a curriculum this year in small pieces, and so Nicole's going to speak on her experience.
So Krista and I have both kind of implemented this where we could in throughout our lessons. So on the left, there is a picture of some student work. This was from an example where they had to do a notice and wonder. The question or the statement that was presented to them was, your friend ran 2/3 of a mile in 30 minutes. And so on the desks, these are dry erase desks, that the students were just kind of brainstorming their ideas, things that they noticed, things that they wondered. And kind of going off of what Amanda said, this allows all students to just kind of access the problem because it's very open-ended. So kind of allows them to kind of think outside the box in whatever way. But yeah, so I don't know if you want to talk about yours.
The beginning of my lesson is on the right. So I teach 6th grade, and my biggest requirement, I guess, for any lesson is, can I get 30, 11, and 12-year-olds to be on task for the entire class period? And if I can, I know that this curriculum is great. And this lesson and all of the resources that we've been trying have really done that for my students. The lesson on the right is just an example of a pre-algebra lesson where the students were first learning how to solve for an unknown or relate inequalities. So for example, like the green triangle, what is something you notice about the green triangle? For letter A, you know that the green triangle has a greater value than the blue square. For letter B, you realize that the green triangle equals 3 of the squares. So that had an entry level where all of the students were able to at least something that could be true, something that's definitely not true, and then that slowly led to solving for actual values. And the nice thing, which Lisa mentioned earlier, is there was a technology piece, which technology is great, but it can't replace, the curriculum. It can't replace what needs to be done in the classroom. So at the end of this lesson, there was a game where it had all of these hangers, and it went up to level 100, and the students could keep going and see how far they could get. And I had students solving what really is 2- and 3-step equations at a 6th grade level. They just didn't know that they were doing a 2- and 3-step equation, but when it's presented in a picture format, it was amazing how far that they could do, and they were very proud of themselves. So there's just one example of how this lesson has really worked well for my students this year. So.
Thank you to all of the educators who came here tonight. At this time, we'd take any questions that the board might have.
I have more of a comment than a question. It is a comment. First of all, I want to thank you all of you, for your time and dedication, because what makes this successful is your buy-in, and it's not even buy-in, it's your ownership. You guys wrapped your arms around this process and said, we're going to be a part of it. That's what makes it work in the classroom. If we sit up here and pontificate, it means nothing. This should be a process that starts with you guys and works its way up, and I want to thank you and commend you for that. And I think as a board and as a district, Jim, your leadership and saying this is the way this should be done. And this isn't the first year we've done this, certainly, but I think that's what makes where we're trying to go and where we've been and where we're going. You guys and all you guys out there make this possible, so thank you. Anybody?
I'd also like to thank Christy and Nicole. They invited us into the classroom today, the academic team of Diane and myself, to explain the math concept to us and answer a lot of questions that I had. I know many of the math teachers standing here that gave up their night to come and explain this, and they're wonderful teachers, and we thank them for being here.
You're good? Thanks, y'all. Drive safely. Happy St. Patrick's Day, early-ish.
I'd like to echo that gratitude to the team. We certainly have educators that are second to none, and these are fine examples right in here. If you have any questions before the next board meeting, we'll be happy to answer them or have a committee member answer them for you.
Legal services.
I have no report, Mr. President.
You have no idea how happy that makes me. AFT report. Apparently no report. Valley View Council report. No report. And Valley View also Office Personnel Council report. I think somebody told me they didn't have a report either. Is that correct, Shelley? Thank you. Any old business before the board this fine evening? Any new business before the board this evening? Any questions from the public on actions we have taken this evening? Going once, going twice, third time. Any announcements by the board?
I have an announcement. I'd like to say congratulations to Earl Brooks, wrestling coach at Lukanzik Middle School. He was elected to be the Grand Marshal at the IESA State Wrestling Tournament this past weekend. He's been a great coach for many years and has positively affected many students' lives, including my son and a lot of his friends, and he's still going strong. Thanks, Earl, for all you do.
Nice. Anyone else from the left? Anyone from the right? I just had a real quick, first of all, I want to wish everybody a happy early St. Patrick's Day. I am somewhat Irish. But also the community, the Lions Club community in Bolingbrook in particular celebrated its 25th anniversary St. Patrick's Party. But more to the point, the Lions have contributed several thousands of dollars in the last 2 or 3 years to assist us as a district with ensuring that young students, it's kindergarten, isn't it, Gary, or first grade? Kindergartners? Kindergartners get their eyes checked appropriately, and there's a big, all the Lions clubs are, vision and hearing impaired assisters to their communities. They do it very discreetly, they do it very quietly, they help people who cannot necessarily afford a hearing aid or good quality vision care and glasses and so on and so forth. If you see a Lions Club box and you have extra glasses laying around, kindly donate your glasses, because they don't just stick in the community, they help people all over the world with vision issues. But they celebrated their 25th anniversary of their St. Patrick's Day, and there was a gentleman who was part of the community who passed away a few years ago. His name is Rick Potts, and they honored Rick and his family for his dedication to the Lions community going back to the late 1889. Rick would love that. 1989, and but I want to commend the Lions and thank them for their continued support of our school district, and they throw a pretty nice St. Patrick's Day corned beef dinner as well. So, anybody else have anything? If not, any announcements by the administration? Dr. Mitchum?
No report.
Any announcements by the public? Hearing none, seeing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order. Motion and seconded by Mr. Baduras. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Have a great and safe evening. Thank you.